Hello and welcome everyone. Very happy that we are all together again. In this tutorial we will talk about the protection system priority. So fasten your belt and let's get started. The aim of this tutorial is to learn about a new concept which is the protection system priority. So we will learn what is the protection system priority and why we need to use it. So let's go ahead. First of all, if we have a protection system like that one, we can notice easily that it consists of many components like the transformer, the generator, and the transmission lines, and the busbars. And all of those components are interconnected with each other, which makes the power system to be a complex one. And due to the complexity of having many components to exist in the power system, we cannot use only one protection system to protect it. But we use many protection systems to protect the power network, and each of those systems is used to protect a specific small part of it. For example, we have that protection system, and that other one, and that third one, and those other ones. So the protection systems are distributed on the different parts of the network as you see. And for that reason, we find the protection system to be divided into some zones, as each protection system is responsible for protecting only a specific zone. For example, this generator in the power network is considered to be a zone, and for that, this protection system is responsible for protecting this generator as it protects the zone P1 represented in that generator. And also we have this second zone P2 which has those two protection systems, so it has two protection systems to protect it. Which means those two protection systems are used to protect that transformer or that zone. And also this third zone P3 is used to protect that busbar with those four protection systems. And by the same way, this fourth protection zone, it uses those two protection systems, one at the beginning of the transmission lines and the other one at the end of the transmission lines. And it used to protect this zone which is represented in those transmission lines. So the transmission lines is the zone of protection, and we use two protection systems to protect it, which means if there is a fault occurs in the transmission lines, we will break the circuit from the beginning of the transmission lines and from the end to prevent the fault from reaching the rest of the power network. And by the same way, we have this fifth protection zone, and this sixth protection zone, and this seventh protection zone. For example, this sixth protection zone consists of a transformer, and we will use those two protection systems at the ingoing of the transformer and another one at the outgoing of the transformer. And this is to isolate the transformer totally in case of there is a fault. But you can ask now, will each protection system be used to protect its zone only, or it can protect the other zones? Here to answer that question, we come up with the concept of the protection priority. So the protection priority specifies the priority of the protection system, or which element that the protection system must protect firstly, and which element that the protection system will protect secondly. So the protection system is responsible for protecting some components as a primary protection, which means if there is any fault on any element in one zone, this protection system will break the circuit immediately, as this is its main responsibility. And also this protection system will protect the other elements in the network as a secondary protection, which means it will wait for a period at which the other protection system can take an action. But if there is no action from the other protection systems, this protection system can break the circuit as a secondary protection. So what we want to say is that there must be a coordination between the different protection systems, as each of them will contribute in clearing the fault in the other zones. So we must know which protection system will work firstly and which one will work secondly as a backup protection and which one may work thirdly. And we can take an example. Suppose a fault has occurred in those transmission lines here, as this transmission line lays in zone P4. So this protection system must protect this transmission transmission line as a primary protection, so it must work immediately. But suppose there is any failure inside that protection system, so this protection system can't work now. Here we will find this protection system in zone P3. It will work to protect the system of the zone P4, so it will protect it now as a secondary protection, as the protection systems of P4 doesn't work. So this is the concept of the coordination between the different systems. Here, if the primary protection doesn't work, the secondary protection will work instead of it. So for the concept of the primary protection and the secondary protection, we need to make a coordination between the different protection systems. So the arrangement of the working operation of the different protection systems must be done to have an arrangement for any probability of any fault which may occur. And another example, if we have a fault that occurs in the zone P7, there must be a secondary protection to protect it which lays outside the zone of protection. So we can use this protection system to break the circuit here that lays in this zone which is P5. Very good. Now another note is that there must be an overlapping between the different protection systems and the adjacent zones. And the overlapping means that there are some protection systems that exist in one protection zone. For example, this protection system works as a primary protection for the zone P1 and for the zone P2. And also this protection system, it works as a primary protection for the two zones P2 and P3. And by the same way, this protection system, it works as a primary protection for the zone P5, as a primary protection for the zone P6. And this overlapping strategy makes the protection system to be more safe and more efficient to do its job to clear the fault, as the protection system at that case works to protect more than one element, or it protects two different elements in two different zones as a primary protection. More than great. So that's about this tutorial at which we illustrated the protection priority. Hope that's clear right now. Thank you for watching and see you in next tutorials.